Hello, welcome to Wednesday night's Late Night Hotline Live, brought to you by NordVPN. My name is Daniel Comm, delighted to be joined by the one and only Keith Jackson. Keith?
Season 25-26, just stop it. This is just now, we've gone, we went through the looking glass, I don't know how long ago. How does this end? I have no idea, but this is just mental.
I should say that any football fan watching at home that thinks they've had a stressful night watching that, they should try being Mick Gannon at Falkirk. Mick?
Honestly, Keith just asked a question, where does it end? It ends in me in therapy. That's where it ends. When you get a 1,000-word match report, it's got to be sent at 10 o'clock, and it's 30 seconds to 10, and the entire title race gets tipped on its head with a 99th minute penalty kick for a VAR call, which nobody's got a Scooby about. Let's just say it's a challenge. What an incredible night, incredible season. Drama. Genuinely, you could not script the way this is unfolding this season. I'm absolutely gobsmacked at what we've seen here tonight. A night that turned twisted and turned all night, and then that at the end. Genuinely, I think a phrase I used was bone-shuddering drama. And that's what it felt like. It feels like my bones are shuddering.
Mick, honestly, right, I'm sitting here now, I know you're at Falkirk. I'm sitting here, I'm flicking. I've never done anything like it in my life before. I'm flicking in between the two games constantly. You can't actually get watching one of the games because there's so much going on. Every time I flicked over, I just flicked over in time. I had one of those lucky nights, flicked over in time to see the next goal or the next bit of drama. Oh, my word. The second half, obviously, the most of the interest was at Fir Park. Just because Hearts were on top. But, at one point tonight, obviously, when Motherwell take that early lead, Hearts just need to win their game. And they've won the title. And when they went 2-0 up at home to Falkirk, you just thought, well, points are in the bag here. What's happening at Celtic? Motherwell get the late equaliser. Again, everyone swings because at that point, Hearts just need to avoid a doing on the last day of the season at Celtic Park to win the title. And then we get the drama at the end. And by the way, we're going to be talking about this for days. Just as well, the game's coming up on Saturday. Because see, if we had 2 weeks, every day we'd be talking about the decision-making that's going on at Fir Park tonight. And I think there's two big issues. I think that Motherwell are really unlucky, and I don't understand why VAR didn't look at it. I think they had a really strong penalty claim when Slattery goes down. Now, see, at full speed, Mick, probably you'll think that as well. At full speed, it looks as if Slattery's feet have just gone from under him. He's slipped.
Yeah.
When Sky showed a couple of replays, McGregor catches him. And Slattery's raging about it. And I don't think VAR looked at it. If they did, nobody said anything about it. And then right at the death, and the basically the last kick of the ball, Ian Atkill scores the penalty kick. And I don't know. I've looked at that. Dan and I were talking. We don't know, was it given for an elbow by Sam Nicholson and Austin Trusty? Was it given for handball?
I think it was the handball, Keith. I think so.
I think it was handball. I think it's. We managed to catch a few clips in between pulling the pants off my head at that point. As a hint of it, I think handball's the call, but it's going to be one that's going to be controversial. There's no doubt about it, especially given the circumstances.
I tell you why.
I thought the Slattery ones. I thought he slipped. Look, the motion that he did, I thought it looked as though he slipped as well.
He was.
I've only seen it once, so.
He was slipping, but McGregor then whips his kind of standing leg away as he's going down. Listen, I don't know if it was a penalty or not, to be perfectly honest, but there was contact, and I was surprised that it wasn't scrutinised a little bit more forensically.
Yeah.
That one, the handball, I'll tell you why there's going to be such an issue. Two reasons. Well, one, obviously, the nature of it and the moment that it came in, but the two major reasons for that incident. Trusty's kind of shoulder is underneath. We think it's Sam Nicholson. Yep. Sam Nicholson's kind of arm, and Trusty's movement brings Nicholson's arm up. Then there's this sort of the contact when Nicholson's pulling his arm back, that his hand comes up here. If it doesn't hit his hand, it goes straight onto his forehead. I think there's this is going to rage, by the way. I'll wait to see what the manager say afterwards. But this is going to absolutely rage with controversy.
I couldn't understand why his hand would be there. I don't know why his hand's there to be in that area. So I'm not sure.
He's going for leverage, Mick, but Trusty's body kind of comes up and it brings his arm up. And then basically his hand is there. It's not as if the ball's not there. If the hand's not there, and the hand is probably there because of Trusty's body movement, he's just going to head it clear. I think, listen, what did we say a few days ago? Please, please, please don't let this be decided or let, major decision making have to come into this. Because listen, guys are capable of it.
It was always going to be this. I mean, we saw right before half time, Martin Neal was doing his dinger about the Dyson Maida clash with Callum Ward. The one that bizarrely Arnie Engels thinks it's a foul. Yeah. And he just casually nudged it onto the bar. And the whistle hadn't gone. So it would have been a goal. And everyone's standing about watching it. It ended up in a drop ball. And VAR has a look at it for a potential penalty kick. That's another moment. I think there's going to be an argument there. It could have been an argument. This would now take over that one, obviously. Yeah. But, I mean, just in terms of a night, the talk points and turning points, I mean, in the name of the wee man, I mean, Celtic, I thought, Motherwell thought Celtic did the game better. We were doing a job on Celtic again, got the goal. Big trouble. At that point, Hearts are coasting, and it looks like Celtic are dead and buried. But in fairness, they dragged themselves back. I mean, by the way, this Celtic team looked dead on their feet. But they looked dead on their feet. I mean, I looked at Arthur Johnson early in the second half, looked as if he'd completely done his tank. Cal McGregor, at one point, looked as though he was exhausted. Then he ran 60 yards, won a ball, then ran 50 yards the other direction into the box. You're thinking, this is just sheer will. This is just sheer bloody determinism and bloody mindness. And they get ahead. I mean, Negan scores a fantastic second goal. And for 5-10 minutes, I think Celtic are comfortable and looked as though. So I start writing my intro. all roads lead to Saturday. And then there's a 5-minute spell when Celtic just collapsed and Motherwell turned it on. And Celtic made a few changes and didn't get their shape right. Motherwell capitalised and the pressure was building. The keeper had a couple of saves and then the goal comes and Celtic looked completely kaput. So at that point, you're thinking, right, now it's not quite helicopter Sunday, but it's not far off it. Because Celtic now, Hearts are now 3 ahead. So you're thinking this is now going to be Celtic needing a miracle on Saturday, and then somehow they summon up the energy to go attack for the last 9 minutes of stoppage time, and then get the goal.
Honestly, I mean, see at that point, see when Motherwell get it to 2-2, you're actually looking at. I'm thinking about from your perspective, trying to write a match report. I'm thinking I need to hold off here because it looks like Motherwell could get a third. At that moment in time, in that period of the game, you'd actually fancy Motherwell to go and win the match.
Well, at that stage, I've got 3 different scenarios. I'm like Jean-Michel Jarre, typing 3 different scenarios at the one time. I've got one hand, one laptop, one hand with my tongue banging the other one, trying to get 3 different scenarios all at the same time. And people wonder why. And I'm only 24. And I just look at this because of this job. But at that point, you're right. At that point, Motherwell were far stronger, far superior, and Celtic looked out on their feet and looked as though they're feeling sorry for themselves at that point. Yeah. But they somehow got. I mean, listen, I know there's controversy and I know there's twists and turns, but I think at this stage now, you've got to tip your hat. I mean, listen, I think you've got to commend Hearts tonight going and winning 3-0 like that. I mean, sensational. And I mean, that's no matter what happens now, Hearts have given us a thrill ride that they should be commended and applauded. And all the rest of it. But I think also you've got to say, listen, this Celtic team has got its faults, has got its flaws and its weaknesses, we know it, but you cannot question the commitment and desire and effort they're putting in. You've got, out there tonight, you've got Engels, McGregor, you've got Arthur Johnson. None of these guys are fully fit. And they're running themselves. Liang, who ran himself into the ground last week and Sunday, done it again, and I don't think it was great tonight, but he ran himself into the ground. These guys are going to the well, metaphorically and literally tonight, time and time again. You got to say, Kieran Tierney, another one again, and the guys they're some of them in pain, they're knackered, they're biting their gum shield, and they're just about getting it done by the skin of their teeth tonight. But if you got to say fair play.
Mick, it's a refusal to give in. It's a refusal to let this go. And I think that comes from various. It comes from certainly the manager, who is just a born winner. But also you've got players inside that dressing room that have won too much. They've gone too far with this club. They've lifted too many trophies to just roll over and accept their fate this season. And it has at times, it's looked like fate. But now you would have to say, even though, by the way, I have to tell you, Mick, I thought Motherwell were superb tonight. I thought Celtic off the park. I thought there wasn't too much of a difference to the performance that they put on against Wilfred Nancy's Celtic. They were so dominant. I thought the way they make angles, the way they pop the ball around, I thought they were terrific. But as Celtic, even though I felt for periods of the first half, the Celtic looked stung. They looked stung by the way Motherwell were playing around about them. They couldn't get to grips in the game. But they've just found this inner strength, this inner will, this fortitude to scrap and fight and claw their way back out of difficult situations. It is astonishing. It really is incredible. And now you have to say, Celtic at home, final day, this Celtic side that have refused to go away, they go into this situation now, courtesy of that goal from Iheanacho, the penalty, and your favourites now. The Celtic have to be favourites going into this game to win the title, and that's extraordinary in itself. The fact that they've managed to just hang in there out of sheer dogged determination, stubbornness, call it what you like, and they now get what they've been battling for: a one-off shot at Hearts at Celtic Park, final day of the season, winner takes all.
But the fact of the matter is that this team are practically on their knees. I mean, O'Neill's been relying on the same hardcore for the last 6 weeks, and they do look completely on their knees, and they're going to have to go deep one more time. Hearts look a team that's fresher. They've had 15, maybe 20 games less than Celtic this season. Out both cups fairly early. They weren't playing in Europe. Yeah. So I know they've got injuries, but they've got fresher legs. So Celtic are just going to have to kind of go one more time to that well again. And it's only in a few days as well. So it's 3 games in 6 days that I didn't think that this Celtic squad were going to be able to cope with physically, and they nearly didn't. But it might be that a full Celtic Park and the stadium was going to be. I mean, tonight again, I mean, a eruption at the end there, people on the pitch again. I think. I don't know what's going on at the end. I was too busy headbutting my laptop. It could be a full-scale riot for all I knew at that point. But no, they have to go. That might give them the energy they need. But I don't think, and you're saying Celtic are favourites, I think Hearts have got a really good chance because Celtic are crawling themselves to this finishing line.
Do you know what it reminds me of, Mick? Do you know what it reminds me of? Remember the last time in this country that we had a final day shootout was when Aberdeen went to Ibrox. They were top of the table. Rangers, if you remember that day, I think John Brown broke his leg and played on for 90 minutes. You'd Mark Haitley playing it right back. By the end of that game, they didn't have another step in them. And I just wonder if this Celtic side is showing the same sort of hallmarks as that Rangers side back then.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. Like you say, but we keep talking about things like, I mean, listen, we're all kind of romantics and poets and all that stuff. We talk about fate and destiny. Hearts will feel exactly the same. I mean, Hearts, look at Hearts' records post-split. I mean, incredible. I mean, I think, and listen, we've always waited. We kept waiting. People kept saying from January, February, at some point they're going to hit a bump, they're going to bottle it, they're going to this. They have not done that all the way through. Even tonight.
13 points. No. What is Hearts now? Is it not 13 points from 5? Yeah, counting the Motherwell game before the split.
Yeah.
So games against Motherwell, Hibs, Rangers, Falkirk. Who else?
Motherwell again.
Motherwell again.
Yeah.
And they've taken 13 points from 15. I mean,
incredible what they've done. And I genuinely think no matter what happens now, we deserve to be saluted for what they've done this season because they have not gone away. And by the way, Martin Neal is sometimes been a wee bit cute and he says, it looked impossible and all that stuff, and it looked a miracle. Celtic went level with Hearts when he left the first time round when Nonsi came in. They were 6 points behind when he came back in. It wasn't that they were 20 points behind and they've crawled it back in and Hearts have collapsed. They've been itchy-peachy all the way since. The three of them have been pretty much neck and neck all the way since the turn of the year. And Hearts have refused to go away. So you've got to give them their due. I think they'll fancy this as well. I think they'll look at this team and for all their flaws and their and fitness issues and think they've got a good chance. The only thing is it's awkward for Hearts how they go and play it. They need a draw. Aye. So how they approach it is going to be tricky because I don't think they can play for a draw. No. I think that's inviting trouble. But then if you said give us one manager to put a team out to get a draw in a game that matters, I think Derek McInnes would be the guy you would go to. He's a guy who can formulate game plans to frustrate. He can go man for man. He can kill a game if he wants to. So he'd be the guy you would want to win that kind of scenario to get a draw.
I don't think that Derek McInnes, after the season that Hearts have had, I don't think he can go to Celtic Park preparing his team to try and get a share of the points, a draw. I just don't think. I think see if he did that and Hearts lost the game and he set up purely to try and hold the fort and keep a 0-0 or whatever, and it slipped away from Hearts, I don't think he would ever forgive himself for that. So I think it's just going to be an absolute ding-dong. I think he'll just send him out to go and play the game, try and win it.
I think you could think it possibly. I think either way, it's not going to be a straightforward afternoon for anyone. No, it could go to. I mean, who knows how it's going to go to the end? But it's going to go right to the final whistle. I think that's for sure. But listen, we just need to. I think we need to embrace and enjoy this, don't we? I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's just sensational. And I mean, we kind of knew tonight was going to be mad. It surpassed all expectations. And that's what I'm saying. Honestly, how are you supposed to have an idea what madness we've got lying ahead?
Mick, are you about to get thrown out?
No, sorry, I'm typing again. I'm still typing one hand here. More stuff in the paper. No, well, I'll tell you, multitasking here.
Keith, should we let Mick go up the road? We've got tons of comments that I can throw your way.
Sure.
Up the road, see that kind of Will Ferrell kind of is it the meme when he's got a big wine glass and he's like that? that's the big giant wine tumbler. That's what I'm going for tonight.
You'll go home about 1 a.m. Don't worry.
Mrs. Garner might leave a key out for me. I'm going to give me a great late.
Mick, it's always a pleasure. I hope you get through it all right, and I'm sure we'll be annoying you to get you back in the hotline very soon.
No worries, guys. Take it easy. See you later on.
Thanks so much. I thought, Keith, we should let Mick go there because you know what it's like more than anyone. He'll be up to his eyes right now.
Yeah. Although I think he's got a wingman there. I think so.
Aye, well, there you go.
I think Mick's quite cleverly got himself out having to do the after-match quotes.
He'll come in at 4 a.m. to say to Mrs. Gannon, I was there at half, honestly.
We've heard that story too many times.
We've got so many comments coming in. They're pouring in, Keith. And I'm just a messenger. I need to reflect what the people are saying.
I've got a fair idea what they were saying.
So many. I'll say non-Celtic fans, Hearts, perhaps Rangers fans, calling it a fix. You line them up, it says, dogged, never give up. Has nothing to do with anything Celtic have done themselves or Martin O'Neill. It's VAR that gave them the wins, mostly to get them back in contention. It's a complete fix for all to see. David says it's an absolute disgrace. SFA are making a laughing stock, football worldwide. The referees should all resign now. There are a lot of people, though. Highlander saying he raised his handball in the box. It's a penalty. Davey also says it's handball, though, no doubt. Stonewall penalty. I mean, for what it's worth, they're showing it over and over again in front of me, Keith, on the TV. You can interpret whether or not Trusty moves his hand up, but he has got his hand there.
Well, exactly. But that means if his hand's not there... See, this is the thing that I've got with the handball thing, right? And I thought we were getting somewhere that if your hand's in front of your body and it hits your hand here, it's not a penalty kick because it's going to hit your chest. So see if your hand's in front of your forehead, what's the difference?
But then if you raise your... I don't know, but
I'm saying to you that when I looked at it, I think Trusty's body movement, Trusty's rolling and he's got his shoulder under Nicholson's arm and that brings the arm up. Now, if it brought it up to here and the ball's going over Nicholson's head, then I'd say Stonewall penalty kick, even though he's not meant to do it, even though his arm has been moved by Trusty's movement, it would still have to be a penalty kick. When all that's happening is his hand is in front of his head, I don't see what the difference is if his hand's in front of his chest. I might be entirely wrong, but I don't see what the logical explanation, what the difference could possibly be. If it's going to hit his chest and it hits his hand, it's not a penalty. So if it's going to hit his forehead and it hits his hand, I don't understand why that's a penalty kick. And I think that the SFA are going to have a real problem explaining that one.
Chick in the comments says maybe he was trying to keep the sun out his eyes. It's one. it's one for Des Roach, I think, at some point.
Yeah.
And John.
Des will be tucked up in his bed by now. He's a referee for God's sake.
John says it's an unnatural position, and for what it's worth, because you'll take a lot of stick, Keith, for giving you. I think it probably was a penalty. I think your hand's up there, you're asking for trouble. But you might be right about the rule. I don't know. Is that the rule? Who knows? I don't know about handball anymore. It's a minefield.
So two factors to consider, if you're VAR. One, did he voluntarily put his hand up there, or was it moved by Trusty's movement? Right? I think it's pretty clear it's Trusty's movement that has brought the arm up. And then two, as I said to you, if my arm is in front of my chest and somebody shoots and it hits my hand right there, it's never a penalty kick. So what's the difference that it's 12 inches higher up?
Aye. No, I understand your logic. Ash in the comments says that handball, he jumped leading with his arm, his hand finishes in front of his forehead. It's a Stonewall penalty. Although Michael says no, it was natural positioning. David says, was Des on VAR tonight? McInnes apparently has been on the TV while we've been on, saying it's an absolute joke. I don't know if that's accurate, but a couple of people saying that in the comments, Keith. Well, we could talk about the handball all night. We mentioned their Hearts post-split form, and rightfully so, amazing. But Keith, that's Celtic now 7 wins in a row. None of us thought they'd do 5. 5 seemed unbelievable. They're now going for their 8th on Saturday to win the league. That is remarkable. Well,
especially when you remember what Danny Rowe was saying, wasn't it, about 9 cup finals and all this for Rangers. And we've not even mentioned the fact that they've gone down to a 4th straight post-split defeat tonight at home at the Hibs. Martin O'Neill never talked about 8 straight cup finals or anything like that. He just went, as he does, game to game, and he just keeps on asking for more at his players, keeps on just squeezing that little bit extra, even when they're not playing well. And as I said to you, I thought Motherwell by a distance were the best team in the park tonight. But this will not to give in, this will not to give it away. You know, I come back to it. Remember weeks and weeks ago, somebody mentioned the other night, and I said to you about the line from Succession, you have to be a killer.
Yep.
And I said to you, that would be the difference ultimately between Celtic and Rangers this season. And you're seeing that. Rangers are rolling over, getting tucked away and put to bed. Celtic are still there somehow by hook or by crook, taking this all the way to the last day. Should
we mention, Keith, I know it's all about the title race tonight, and Rangers are out of the title race, but should we mention the Rangers game briefly? I mean, we said it in last night's show. I know it doesn't really count for anything, but to lose that game tonight, it's really bad for Danny Rowe.
Well, and then there's the question of what happened with James Tavernier before kickoff.
What was all that about?
And what did I say to you last night about when we were talking about the Hearts players knowing full well that they've got complete and utter belief in everything that Derek McInnes is asking them to do and telling them to do. And he's got complete belief in them. And I said to you, I don't think that Rangers dressing room feels the same way about Danny Rowe. Mm-hmm. How do you think that plays out in that dressing room shortly before kickoff when James Tavernier apparently had left the stadium? So he stormed out the dressing room on the day that he's meant to be, you know, after 10, 11 years service to the football club and everything he's done during that time. I mean, in a game that was a dead rubber, for him not to start that game, I can completely understand why he wouldn't be too pleased about that. I think it's quite unprofessional of him if he has walked out, but then that would be an emotional moment. What I'm suggesting to you is, what do you think his teammates, despite what everybody know that Tavernier comes in for a lot of criticism and his captain disappointed, and that's a fact, but he's got the total respect to his teammates. And I'm not sure that his teammates will react well at all to him feeling humiliated by Danny Rowe.
Yeah.
And it smacks to me of an inexperienced manager making wrong decisions at exactly the wrong time. And that has been the story of Danny Rowe post-split for Rangers. And, you know, he might have had his vote of confidence the other day from the board, and he might have walked out of the room with Andrew Kavanagh thinking, well, that's it, everyone's sorted. Certainly seemed to have a spring in his step. See, when you're making decisions like that, you're causing yourself problems. And, you know, Rangers now 4 straight defeats. I think, as I said last night, Dan, he's not out of the woods yet, not by a long shot. I
agree with you. And just very briefly, some of the comments on Tavernier coming in. The Goomplatoon says no player should be guaranteed a game, and John says Danny Rowe was right not to start Tav. He was hopeless on Sunday, should have been on the bench to get a send-off as a sub. Although Chick says, shocking treatment of Tav, and that's from a Celtic fan. The guy was a legend to his club, true servant. I mean, for what it's worth, Keith, I probably fall into that category. I've never really understood the abuse and the criticism.
It's because he's synonymous.
I know he's Cafu or anything, but it feels always way over the top.
He's synonymous with a Rangers that hasn't delivered, that hasn't won trophies. He's been the poster boy as the guy wearing the armband. He's the guy with a band in your arm and a target in your back, and ultimately he'll carry the can, and maybe rightly so, because the mentality inside that dressing room hasn't been right, and he has been the leader. So, you know, maybe a lot of some of the criticism is merited for that, because Rangers, but a lot of it's not. At the same time, it can be mitigated against the backdrop of Rangers being a club in pretty much constant turmoil over his entire period there. There's been some, I mean, not even bang average Rangers sides. So he's been the least of the problems. But at the same time, he's the figurehead, he's the armband wearer, he's the leader, and it's a dressing room where the mentality is clearly so weak. It's staggering. But I wonder, and obviously didn't see any of the Rangers game tonight, I wonder what that performance looked like, because I wonder what the rest of the guys inside that dressing room are feeling when all that kicks off before kickoff. And I think, as I said to you, inexperience on Danny Rowe's part. There's a guy that's given 11 years to the football club. I think at the very least, now, different matter if Rangers were going into that game tonight, you know, trying to secure third place. Third place was done and dusted. There was nothing to play for. And I think good leadership, good man management by the manager would have been to give, even despite the fact that Tavernier was pretty poor against Celtic, poor against Hearts. I agree with all that. But I just think you play the bigger man, you know, and I know we want to move on and discuss other things, but let's not forget, there was something very curious went on when on the Monday Tavernier came out and said, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I haven't even planned my summer holidays." And then on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, that's it, I'm leaving, folks. No. That smacked, and I said at the time, something didn't pass the smell test there. I think there's problems behind the scenes. I think that Danny Rowe, and maybe rightly, is wanting to move on the leadership sort of unit and kind of recalibrate the whole thing behind, and maybe he's quite right to do that. I think it is the right time for Tavernier to move on, but I don't think he should be moving on the way that he's had to leave there tonight. I think that's poor. That's poor man management. It's really poor man management.
Before we wrap up, Keith, two things I need to get your take on. I've had so many people, we touched on it with Mick, but so many people asking about Dyson Maeda with Callum Ward. I just can't remember. Did you say you thought it wasn't a penalty, the collision in the first half? Looked like Ward come out. I think he gets the ball. Having not seen it back, but he does go through Maeda.
I don't think it's a penalty kick. In fact, do you know the absolute truth? And Mick's nailed it. When the ball drops to Engels thinks it's a free kick to Motherwell. He thinks it's a foul on the goalkeeper. Now, I'm actually quite pleased that wasn't a foul on the goalkeeper, because I think goalkeepers are overprotected. But that was my automatic assumption. When the ball was in the air, Maeda's backing into him, it'll be a free kick for the goalkeeper. It's always a free kick for the goalkeeper. It certainly wasn't a penalty kick, because Callum Ward is trying to get above Maida, who's backing into him to try and get his fist in the ball, and he does get his fist in the ball. Certainly not a foul against Maida, and I think that's why Engels is so kind of casual about when the ball drops him, because he's expecting that to be given as a free kick to Motherwell. Otherwise, I think he would have made a better job with trying to tuck it away. Then the funny thing is, by the way, the ball drops back down off the bar, and the Motherwell boy, I can't remember what it was on the goal. He's nearly put it into his own net. He had to step back to it. How farcical would that have been?
Imagine that had won the title. That would have been good.
And this season, you can rule nothing out, Dan.
Who knows? Right, and the last thing, very last thing, our resident Hearts fan, McKenna, who's on most nights, Keith.
How's he feeling tonight?
I mean, he must have been through the ringer. He says, it's laughable that all Celtic fans think it's all over. You haven't beaten us all season, and all we need is a draw. Don't get too cocky. You nearly had to beat us 3-0. So he's feeling very defiant. He thinks Hearts are going to do it this weekend.
I'm losing the plot as well, because I thought when Spittle scores, but did you see Spittle's goal?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, my word. Just brilliant football. And it's been a night of some brilliant football. But Spittle cuts in from the left, from the right-hand side, onto his left peg, bang, curls it round, goes 3-0. At that point, Motherwell then get the second. They then equalise, and it really is all set up. I think that's the right way around.
Yeah. No,
at that point, I'm thinking to myself, well, that's 3-0, so Celtic need to score 4. I thought because Hearts
would have been 6 goals better off. And scored more goals. So
scored more goals. Yeah. So it would at that point there. That's how close everyone was. At that point there, Celtic would have had to win by 4 goals or more. I think, if my calculation, my maths is right.
I think you're right.
To win the title. And now, courtesy of the drama at the end of the game at Fir Park, we're now having to hitch our wagons up and head over to the East End of Glasgow for this game, and who knows what happens next.
Paul in the comments sums it up, saying it's all set for a brilliant finale, and that is echoed by Anne, if I can find her comment. She summed it up well, saying this is one of the most iconic seasons ever.
It's just
years.
It's sensational. And you know something else? It's not just us that will be talking about it for years. We were talking the other night about the amount of kind of interest there is from media platforms all around Europe and beyond. Everybody's plugged into this. And see if they were kind of thinking, oh, this is actually pretty good. I'm going to keep an eye on what happens because they've got midweeks. Are you kidding me? If they've just watched what we've just watched, they'll be totally hooked.
Aye.
Scottish football will be getting talked about all round the world tomorrow morning because of just what went on there last night and what is still to come in the final act on Saturday. It's brilliant, and it's been such a great season, so enjoyable. I mean, I don't have any skin in this game, but I was actually, you're looking at the reaction of the fans, you're actually feeling for them, because I don't know how you can be emotionally involved in this and get through it unscathed. It's brilliant. I mean, talk about drama, and we always say that, I've always said, sport is the greatest drama. Football is the greatest sport. And this is why it's the passion, it's the emotion, it's you're standing there looking with 2 minutes to go, not got a clue what happens next. Because it can't be scripted. So I have no idea how it plays. Don't ask me, Dan. Don't even ask me for a prediction. I can't give you one. I've not got a clue what happens at Celtic Park on Saturday. Not a clue.
I was going to say we'll maybe save that for tomorrow. Maybe sleep on it because we're back at 6 p.m. tomorrow to do this all again in the aftermath of tonight's incredible matches. But for now, I think that brings to the end. The comments have been first class tonight. So many, Keith, and we appreciate them all. Thank you very much. And as I say, we'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Keith, it's always an absolute pleasure.
Good night, Dan.
And thanks for watching at home. I hope you can sleep after that. Hope you can sleep after that and hopefully see you tomorrow. Cheers.